hearts might be brought to repentance and return to Thee, O Lord. Lord, give us holy priests. Thou Thyself maintain them in holiness. O divine and great High Priest, may the power of Thy mercy accompany them everywhere and protect them from the devil's traps and snares, which are continually being set for the souls of priests. May the power of Thy mercy, O Lord, shatter and bring to naught all that might tarnish the sanctity of priests. For Thou canst do all things. Amen. Virgin most powerful, pray for us.
Abortion's finished in Texas, but its effects will last years. Project Joseph, a confidential healing ministry for men only, helps you find peace after an abortion loss. The next Project Joseph is August 27th and 28th, with spots going fast, so act now. Call 469-720-CARE to find men who understand the pain you've gone through, because you're not alone. Call 469-720-2273 now and heal with Project Joseph.
Hi, I'm Dr. Kyle Eberline of Mid-Cities Dental and a parishioner of Good Shepherd Catholic Community in Colleyville. Dentistry can be expensive, especially if you know you need a lot of work. That's why you need to know all of your treatment options, and you need a dentist whom is on your insurance plan. This could potentially save you lots of money. Our office will offer you a no-obligation consultation with necessary x-rays. We can be reached at 817-282-9321 or midcitiesdental.com. Again, that number is 817-282-9321.
Everyone said it was okay.
I had a life.
They said it was a choice.
I had a career.
But I didn't really feel like I had a choice.
I was looking outside for answers.
I didn't want to mess up all my plans.
I went on remote control.
Are you suffering from a past abortion? If you are, you may feel alone, but you're not. There are people who understand and can help. Call 214-544-CARE.
They said it was easy.
Why am I still hurting?
Not one single day is easy for me.
Don't suffer alone. Call 214-544-CARE or go to racheldallas.org. Don't worry, it's all confidential.
Welcome to Back to the Father, a show about the journey of life focused on our final end, which is God Himself, our loving Father. And now, here's your host, Dave Palmer.
And welcome, everybody, to another fun, thrill-packed, and informational episode of Back to the Father here on the Guadalupe Radio Network social media pages. And we're glad you're here, and we are trying to build the audience, so let people know about this. We love your feedback. You can call in if you want, 877-757-9424, or you can comment on the Facebook or the YouTube or the Twitter page. We have somebody just watching it with an eagle eye, and if you comment and it seems like something that would help the program and the conversation, well, then Sissel will read it out loud. And so thank you again for watching, and my name is Dave Palmer, and here with me is Sissel Anderson over there to the right.
Hello.
Right? How you doing?
I'm doing well.
Is that officially a hat?
It's got a brim.
It's not. Well, yeah. What makes? Yeah. See, this is very philosophical question.
True.
What makes a hat a hat? It's kind of like what makes a dog, right? It's we're talking about essence, right?
Yeah.
Is that a hat?
I think in essence it is.
I don't know.
I think it's a mini hat.
It is a mini hat.
It's like a hat clip. Like
So
it has
there's a lot of
hatness.
flower. It has hatness. So there's a lot of flowers on it, so it's kind of hard to see. But it's a tiny baby little straw hat,
Okay.
and
all
it's
right.
adorable.
Okay, so it
So
is a
it's
hat.
not going to protect me except for that one little patch of head from the sun.
Yeah, it's like if you go to the.
That's what your hair's for, though. I think.
So if you go to Walmart and you get a Matchbox car, it's still a car. right? But
It's got carness.
But you're not going to drive it home. You know, that's a.
Mine,
it's
at
a
least mine, I
subclass
can
car.
still wear it.
Yeah, I think it's kind of cool, but
is.
I guess it also has to do with the practical. See, I'm already getting right into it. Let me. Jonathan von Weber Hansberg and William von Weber Kirkendall and Diane von Weber Xavier back there as well. So I'm joking. They're not all von Webers. We only have one von Weber.
Yeah, the one and only.
Earlier today, we had two von Webers Hansberg in the
Yes,
studio
we
because your
did.
mom was here.
That was exciting. That was fun.
Okay, so you guys cut a spot. I want to play that, but let me finish this conversation because it has to do with the hat. Okay, this is Aquinas. Okay, and how you
Okay.
guys doing? Good to see you, William. How you doing?
Great.
All
Doing
right,
great.
all right. And
They don't have many hats, though.
it's like you say, okay, if you take a dog and it doesn't bark and it doesn't walk with four legs, it doesn't do dog things. It's not. I mean, is it still a dog? Is that doing hat things?
Look, a dead dog is still a dog.
Yeah, it's good.
No, I disagree. It's a corpse.
It's a corpse, but it's still a corpse of a dog.
Yeah, of a dog.
It was a dog.
But still maintains dog.
So what does that mean? This little mini hat
I don't
is?
think so.
I think it was at least partially.
No, like a corpse is not a human being.
That's true, but it still would retain.
Because the soul is gone. The dog's soul is.
But you can still tell that it was a human being. You can still tell what it was. So it has to retain
no
some
longer-
body.
It's no longer a composite, though. It's not a soul
true.
body. The dog no longer has a soul active animating
That's
it.
true. You could say it could be a former dog. The corpse formerly known as dog.
Okay, so real quick, just want to put it out there because while y'all are talking about a dog's corpse, I'm over here having an allergy attack, and so I'm wiping my eye, and it makes it look like I'm crying. No, I'm just doing it. It makes it look like I'm really emotional about this dead dog, like hypothetically dead dog. I just have allergies, so I will be doing that. I'm not that emotional today. I mean, maybe I am. You'll never know.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for explaining.
I just wanted to explain that because I'm just like.
And we're typical guys. We're here having this conversation. She's over here crying, and we're
really
like,
bad
yeah, whatever. We're talking about dead dogs over here, woman.
Sorry, I feel weird.
We got some weird conversation this holiday. So got off to
Well, it's a great
interesting
day to talk
start.
about marriage.
Dead dogs and marriage.
Dead.
That's all you need.
Yeah, you rarely hear those in the same sentence.
No,
Okay,
not
so-
usually. I think my hat still has some essence of hatness, and so I think it can count as a hat. I don't think it completes the full job of a hat. It's cute, and usually when people wear hats, they like it because of how it makes them look. But it doesn't do any of the sun protective.
Well,
Yeah.
I think that hats at this point have actually changed because they used to be functional, but then they kind of went
Fashionable.
into fashion,
Yeah.
and then they kind of that's their only real purpose, so we don't really wear them anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, if you wear a baseball cap, you're probably not wearing it for much sun protection. I mean, maybe to keep the sun
Especially if you wear it
a little bit.
backwards.
I wear baseball
He
caps
does.
exclusively for sun protection.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, seriously. I mean, I think I don't know. I wear every time I'm outside because I got a big bald spot. You young guys don't know about bald spots yet, but check back in about 30 years. And,
We'll have a reunion show then, and she'll be like, "All right, how's bald spots going?"
Still be
Bald spot
crying.
Yes,
She's getting so emotional.
about the bald spots. I'm so sorry for your hair.
But this is what you got to look forward to because you're going to be at UD next year, and you're going to get
Being
into
bald at UD? Yeah, that sounds great.
no, all these cool conversations because I bet they do this at
About half
UD.
the bald
I
spots.
love the environment where people are just talking about cool things like nature and essence
Yeah.
and composites and it happens on university campuses and Back to the Father. That's
Exactly.
pretty much
It's the same thing, essentially. Yeah, I'll be like, oh yeah, me and Dave were talking on Back to the Father about dead dogs and marriage a little while ago. I
And
feel
hats.
like yeah.
And what makes the hat?
Hey, I see Adrian Fonseca on commenting here, and Sissel
It's a quarter of a hat.
spending too much time crying and not reading comments.
It is
on
100% here. I would just like to say it is here. And Mario says it's a quarter of a hat, so it does not count. It's only
I
quarter.
think he's being generous saying a quarter. I think
Monica's
that's
here. She's waving. Agreed, not a hat. Well, everyone's ripping on my, but it's cute. Can we agree that it's cute? All right, thank you.
But
Without any affirmation. All right, thank you. Yeah.
I was like, yeah.
this brings up
Sure,
another
guys, you don't
interesting.
count.
This brings up another interesting point, and this is really interesting in practical philosophy and theology. Is the person who made it gets to determine what it is.
That's true.
Like when God, like to bring in a very thorny issue in our culture, God creates a woman or God creates a man. It's not our role to say,
Exactly.
I'm a woman because I
Yeah.
wasn't created as a woman, right?
Right.
So if you want to find out what that is, Sissel will have to go find the person who made it
yeah.
and say, what were you making? Now, what if they're nutty and they're saying, I was making, a pizza? We're like, oh.
I'd be like, sweet.
It's a pizza.
I guess
Hut.
I'm.
Okay,
All right.
so so pretty much mostly just commenting on the hat so far?
Yeah, so far I think so. But Monica waved. She's joining us as well on YouTube. We're live on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. Actually, 2 YouTube. So
When
if you're
do
on,
we get to be on like Odyssey or something? That's like the cool people like
Yeah.
CDT, they get to be on Odyssey. I guess we're just not there yet.
When do we
Not
go on
yet.
Twitch?
Twitch?
Twitch live stream.
every time you say Odyssey,
all
I
right,
just I think of something else.
So every Friday morning, we all set our alarm for 7 o'clock because I get to be on Kathy Drive Time.
We
Did
all
you
do
guys
that,
enjoy that segment
Yes,
this
we do.
morning?
Oh, yes, very much.
Thanks for being there watching.
You're
I
welcome.
appreciate that.
Always.
Welcome.
Yeah. Were you even horizontal? I mean, were you vertical or horizontal at 7 o'clock this morning?
100% horizontal. But you
Horizontal
don't
all the
have to. You don't have to be vertical to listen to CDT.
That's true, or be
you
awake.
just have to be like, "Hey Siri, open GRF."
And then pass out again.
yeah, exactly.
So we had a great conversation. Some of this, I don't want to spoil it because I want to recycle some of the conversation during this show. But it's always good to be on with these guys. It's a good show. They have great conversations, fun stuff. Get up 6 to 8 every morning. Kathy Drive Time. All right, the spot. We gonna
Yes,
play the spot?
The spot.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, you guys want to introduce it?
Okay. So. See, I think it's that spots don't generally work where like the creators to be like, oh yes, this is our embarrassing dumb spot that we made. It just happens.
Whose idea was it? Sissel's?
What?
Okay,
Oh no,
so
it was ours.
basically
yours
what
idea.
happened was that I told them, guys, we need to have a creative spot to remind people to email us about their parish events. I said, so unleash your creative juices, but show it to me before you actually record it. Not that I don't trust them.
No, we don't. We do not trust them.
And so this
No, we
is what
don't
they came
trust
up
them at all.
with, and they cracked me up.
Okay, and Diane is going to play this. Diane's back to reading the newspaper. Okay.
We're riveting as always.
Okay, you going to play the spot, Diane? Okay, here we go. Here's the spot.
Howdy, folks. My name is Jonathan, proprietor of the KATH 910 AM PSA Stockpile.
That's right. We're looking for any events y'all want made into public service announcements to be aired on the station.
We're talking parish festivals, picnics, classes, retreats, dances, co-ops, any kind of Catholic event your mind can think of. Woo-wee, I love me some PSAs.
Just make sure y'all send them to the right address.
Otherwise, we can't do jack and squat.
Email those puppies to kath@grnonline.com and we'll get them recorded and playing for you.
Woo!
That's, oh man, that's good. You say we can't do Jackalee squat?
Jack and squat.
Oh, that's great. Has that started airing yet?
No, I mean, they just recorded like 30 minutes ago, so I
Yeah,
don't think
all
so.
right.
But I'm impressed. I appreciate it, guys. Basically, Jonathan really wanted to do accents, I think was what the
Yeah.
prompt was. But and
That's
William,
the entire basis
you
of
know,
it. I won't
William
do an
followed
accent.
along. Just they have 2 different kind of accents going on. That's great.
Yeah, he
So,
suggested like a southern accent. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I can't do like a really good British or Australian accent.
Oh, really?
No, yeah,
I can't.
it's
I
not my
can't.
thing.
No, I'm not really. Are you musical?
A little bit, not.
By
yeah,
the way,
Musical people tend to be able to do accents.
Yeah.
oh, are you musical, Jonathan?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. You play the banjo.
Banjo, electric guitar,
Of
regular
course.
guitar.
By the way, Adrian says that you guys are hilarious. Can I get them to make us some CDT spots?
Yeah, that'd be
Look at
fun.
that.
Yeah.
By the way, we've
Sure.
determined that we think that my mini hat is a fascinator, which I had no idea what it was. But Adrian, Monica's the one who suggested it. Sorry, we're back on the hat conversation. And the definition apparently is a fascinator is a formal headpiece, a style of I don't know how to say that word, millinery. Since the 1990s, the term has referred to a type of formal headwear worn as an alternative to the hat. It is usually a large decorative design attached to a band or a clip.
Okay.
Is that the definition?
Yep.
All right.
Now we
well,
learned something.
you know you picked a good hat when we spend the first 11 minutes of the show talking primarily about hats,
That's
but then
my
also
goal
dead
in life,
dogs.
you know?
You go- yeah.
Dead dogs.
All right,
Country accents.
let me get to the topic at hand, okay? Because that's the tomfoolery section of Back to the Father.
Very important.
We have tomfoolery, and then we have meat, and then we have trivia.
Tomfoolery
okay?
trivia.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we have now officially transitioned, but I do think it's a good idea, ADD brain, that you do some spots for CDT.
Yeah, that'd be
That'd
okay?
be great, yeah.
Yeah. Does Adrian want the Southern guys?
Yeah,
can do
like
Southern,
let them know
Russian,
what you want them to
German,
say,
British,
and they will
Scottish.
do it.
You do it. Okay. So next slide. Here's the show. I have a picture up here of St. Thomas Aquinas, but remember the first picture is the great Michelangelo creation of Adam. This show's really about God. It's about our journey back to God, okay? But it's all based on the teachings of St. Thomas Aquinas. Here's that cool graphic that Rudy did for us. When people love us, they make graphics for us, okay? That's basically the sign of
Thank
love.
you, Rudy, for loving us.
Yeah.
The only one.
But that was pretty cool.
Hey, Buddy's back.
So here's Buddy.
Buddy, he says he has a
Welcome
break.
Buddy.
Fantastic.
Man. We should just have like a moment of silence.
A moment of silence for his return. It's like, take your hats
so
off in
ominous.
respect, sir. He's back.
Welcome back, buddy. Good to have you. He's kind of was the first.
OG.
Yeah, that's right. All right. So the topic today, as you see up on the screen, is an interesting question that St. Thomas Aquinas did not ask about marriage in the Summa Theologia. Okay. Do you guys have any? I know it's kind of a little out there. Like he probably didn't ask a lot of questions about, where should you have your wedding?
He has 23, right?
I mean, he wasn't married, so
23.
Questions.
27.
27.
Yeah.
Oops.
Okay.
27 questions. Had that wrong.
And about 100 articles. Okay, so every question has articles. Typically, questions have about maybe 3 or 4 articles. So you figure there's about 100 articles, 100 different questions. Now I'm getting question articles, but articles are questions, okay? But they're sub questions within a question, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just say, for argument's sake, there are 100 different topics or questions that St. Thomas Aquinas asks about marriage, and he covers a whole lot of ground. But there's one interesting thing he didn't ask, and if any of you are watching CDT this morning, you would know. Okay.
Oh,
but,
I know
the
it.
thing is, Dave, we just don't want to. We know it, but we want other people to have a chance to guess it.
Yeah. Okay. You think you know?
No, I have no idea.
Jonathan, do you know? You can take a guess.
Like the one thing you tell me, like
how long should the wedding veil be?
I think that's
like
it.
that, yeah.
How long the stride is as you go up the aisle.
How far you should
something
fill the
very
bouquet.
specific.
Is it have something to do with
The shoes.
Is it something to do with?
Something to do with?
Well, because you kind of hinted in the verbiage of the email, you're talking about something that wasn't important at the time. It wasn't something that was present at the time.
Oh, I bet.
So it's something to do with something to do with homosexuality, possibly.
It's okay. Well, I'm not going to tell you yet.
Maybe like something to do about like the legal marriage and then within the church, maybe something like that.
Okay.
Or maybe
all right,
some kind of divorce.
Divorce.
Maybe it's
Well, divorce still happens. I mean.
Maybe something like, maybe not like annulment, like maybe when you have one spouse who wasn't Catholic or something like that.
Because it wasn't as common back then.
For you to marry outside of your religion.
Right.
Or like,
I don't know.
He actually does talk about that.
Oh, does he? Okay.
He calls it disparity of worship. Like when there's, and I think, back then in 13th century Italy, you wouldn't have had Protestants because Protestants weren't born yet.
Right.
So to speak.
Good old days.
Wow, Jonathan. I was a Protestant.
This is why we have to screen everything he says. Okay, this is why we have a 7-second delay on this show. Okay, because Diane's like busy. Okay. Every time Jonathan says something, anyways. I think objectively speaking, it's better because when Christ was about to depart from the earth, he prayed that we be one, right? Yeah. That they be one. So I think objectively speaking, it's better to not have Protestants. Okay, and that doesn't mean. I mean, I've got Protestants in my own family. I love them, but I wish they were Catholic. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So now I've cleaned up your comment.
That's what I meant, but I just said it in a blunt way.
All right. So. Okay, anybody guessing out there in social media
No one's
land?
made a guess about what do you think, guys? The ring. Everybody's asking about the ring.
Ooh,
Maybe something to do with the ring.
Okay. Adrian's not allowed to
Adrian, by the way, says he can't believe that y'all don't listen to CDT. And I was going to say, to be fair, teens before 9 a.m. are not are not the best.
Yeah. We need sleep.
My teenagers during the summer that's like when they're going to bed. I mean, they, for the night.
Much,
I mean, when
work
CDT
so late
is starting,
and then,
they're much less being awake. Yeah, they. But okay, so I'll get emotional again over there, sister. Are you all right? My goodness.
Talk of marriage. It's too much for me.
Right.
Sorry, I'm having really bad allergies today.
You have like a cough button.
I need a button to turn my camera off.
Yeah, you need to have a cry button.
I need to have a signal. Jonathan,
All of a sudden,
I'll be like,
Sissel just goes black because
she needs to cry for a minute.
Yeah. Anything we can do to help you, or you okay?
Want some
I'm
pictures of bunnies?
great. I'm great. I'll just occasionally ask Jonathan to take me off so I can cry in peace.
Okay. All right. Yes.
If it ever just goes to Dave randomly, Sissel's crying.
Okay,
Just know that.
and I know another thing for sure. One thing we can establish is y'all don't listen to CDT, at least on Friday mornings when I'm on. Okay, we'll just establish. And you didn't listen this morning. Okay, and you also don't follow my YouTube channel because I did a video.
I do.
You did.
I do
didn't
as
see
well.
it. I didn't see that.
I did a video
specifically,
last night,
but I do watch them.
9 minutes long.
I didn't know you had a YouTube channel.
That's okay.
Oh, no.
You're not the only person in the world that doesn't know they have a YouTube channel. Okay, there's like 8 billion other people that don't know. Okay, whatever 8 billion minus 900 is, because that's how many subscribers I have. All right, so let's move along, and I'm only going to share with you one actual article segment from print out because I think it's pretty interesting, and this is the question here: whether matrimony is of natural law.
Ooh.
Okay, so it's first of all got to define our terms. What's matrimony? Okay, matrimony is the sacramental bond, right? Okay, so is it natural law? Do you remember what natural law is?
Yes. Natural law is there are different kinds. There's the divine law, right? I believe that's
divine law, yeah.
And then there's natural law, and then there's created law or man's law, basically.
Yeah, human law.
Human law.
Yeah.
So natural law.
And then there's another one.
There's another one.
Yeah. There's 4.
There's 4.
You said natural, divine, and human. There's one more.
There's one more. What, like church?
Church law? That's divine law.
That's divine, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's canon law, but that's not.
Okay,
law.
yeah.
That's not one of the 4. No.
Rifle law.
Okay. So you remember all? We did a whole show on the 4 kinds of law, didn't we?
Yeah.
I know. Like 1 week after the show, it's all
I thought
like
there were only 3.
No, there's 4. There's one called eternal law.
Yeah.
Yeah. Eternal law is like everything. Okay, so everything that's true is eternal laws. That's like the big in the diagram. It's like the big circle.
Yeah.
Okay, but then the natural law and the divine law and human law would be in the Venn diagram. Having some portion of that, right? All right. So
we have someone, James, by the way, real quick on Facebook said that his thought of what he didn't talk about was probably in the medieval period there were more arranged marriages, so that you would have to negotiate dowry, and that would be paid by the other family, and that might be a topic he mentioned. I think that's what topic he did mention. Sorry,
okay.
I misread that.
I know he talks about consent, and obviously there wouldn't be a lot of consent if there's an arranged marriage because you're just kind of forced into it. But I don't think he talks about that specifically. But it's a good guess though. So thanks for that. All right, so here's. Natural law is that which is imprinted in us. We don't have to be taught it, right? Okay, so don't go running off, beating up, grandmothers or like what's also natural law? Don't kill the innocent. Don't help the needy. I don't think we have to be told that necessarily. It's just
Like if there's like a lady tied up to a train track and there's a man with a big long mustache and a top hat going like next to her, you try and save her.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right. You would in the example of you're at a mall and you see a little toddler running around crying, clearly lost. I think it's now some people are their will
caught up
and
in other things.
intellects are darkened or they're just stupid.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because there's like a lot of different mortal sins that people might not think are wrong at first until they learn about them. But like there's other ones that are bigger, like murder, which is like everyone knows that that's obviously wrong.
Yeah.
Like you don't need to study that that's wrong to know it's wrong. Like it just kind of comes naturally.
Yeah, but killing another person may not be naturally. I mean, there are some circumstances when we would kill another person, right? And even illicitly, right? Like in war,
right? Oh,
self-defense.
Yeah,
but yeah, but murder would imply that the person didn't deserve to die.
Like
right? Yeah. So there's some nuances and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So all right, so natural law is marriage just something that we are naturally inclined to do? Okay, are we just naturally? Is it something that there's an inclination naturally for marriage?
But he says yes, for God made marriage for Adam and Eve, so marriage would be natural law. That's his thought process.
I don't know that marriage itself as like a sacrament and a ceremony would be natural law, but I think just the inclination to pick one individual and just stay with them.
Yeah,
like like how geese, they mate for life, that kind of thing.
Right.
They're just stuck together. They won't leave each other unless someone dies or whatever.
I think, yeah.
Yeah, which is why he also asked in the Summa, is polygamy against natural law?
Oh.
And,
I'm assuming he said yes. I'm assuming he said went yes on that.
Yeah, well, we talked about that
on the animal.
We
but
talked
we're
about
humans,
that in
so.
CDT. I mean, it's kind of like a man saying to his wife, "Hey, honey, I think I'm going to bring in 3 more women into the household."
She can
And
be
she's
like,
like, yeah. Yeah,
Be like, all right, I'll bring 4 more guys.
It just
It's not
seems
gonna-
weird, you know.
Yeah,
I mean,
very
even
weird.
from a kid's standpoint, I mean, would you want 3 dads and 1 mom, or
That's so many Christmas gifts to get. Like, no, that would not be. That would not be good. And I think Adrian's throwing his hat in the ring for saying yes, that it is natural.
Yeah. Okay. So he is right. Okay. So that is said to be natural, to which nature inclines, although it comes to pass through the intervention of the free will. Okay. So there's some things that nature is inclined to, like a bird is inclined to build a nest, right? But that doesn't mean it's natural law because birds don't have intellect, right?
Yeah.
So even though we have free will and we can choose against it, there is an inclination. Why so, Professor Palmer? Okay.
Yes, why so?
Dave's like, I'm going to wait.
Thus, acts
Not
of
waiting.
virtue and the virtues themselves are called natural. Okay, we're naturally virtuous. And in this way, matrimony is natural because natural reason inclines thereto in 2 ways. First, in relation to the principal end of matrimony, which is, what do you think is the principal end of matrimony, according to St. Thomas Aquinas?
Children.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah,
Children,
namely the good of the offspring. Okay, for nature intends not only the begetting of offspring, but also its education and development until it reach the perfect state of man as man, and that is the state of virtue. I mean, how many people get married these days and say, honey, the purpose of our marriage principally is for the good of the children that we're going to have one day?
Seems like most of them don't even want to have children.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not many.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I love that. And it's interesting what the second one is. You have to guess what the second one is.
Oh.
Because nowadays, most people would say, oh, for the love between the man and the woman.
It's, a lot of people just say generally for happiness.
I'd say for the salvation of the two. They can help each other.
Yeah. Salvation.
Yeah.
That
Well,
would be,
that's not where Thomas went with it, but
Oh.
yeah, he's
Well,
thinking.
all right,
he's thinking.
Okay,
All right,
Thomas.
St. Thomas. Like, I guess go ahead and flex on us.
Well, he's Aquinas, you're not. You know.
Yeah.
You're a bright guy, but. You
I'm
know,
not Aquinas.
nobody's running around calling you the angelic doctor. I mean,
Not
come on,
yet.
no, not
We have
yet.
other things we call you, but
So, okay, he goes on and says, hence we derive 3 things from our parents, namely existence, nourishment, and education. And my kids would say also, like potato chips and cars and, Okay, now a child cannot be brought up and instructed unless it have a certain and definite parents, and this would not be the case unless there were a tie between the man and a definite woman. It's interesting. He says a man and a definite woman.
what does that mean?
The woman
Yeah.
needs to be definite.
Definite.
Like
What does that
That's
mean?
like one.
That doesn't make
It
sense.
doesn't say a definite man and a definite woman. It says a man and a definite woman.
Like, I should just go ask my girlfriend, like, are you a definite woman? Are you?
Don't scream at her though, okay? That's
not a good start to a relationship right here.
Don't point the finger when you're talking, okay? Yeah, just say, ask her gently, okay? Are you a definite woman? Yeah.
And dating advice with Dave.
Yeah, okay. So, second purpose of marriage, really interesting here, okay? So we can go out and take cruises and love each other and be, because nowadays even
So you can make me dinner. And...
yeah, we'd say that you actually hit on it exactly.
Wait,
Unbeknownst.
you mean my always continual thought about food actually paid off for once?
Well, it's not just dinner. It says,
Oh.
okay, in relation to the secondary end of matrimony, which is the mutual services which married persons render. Is it up on the screen?
I didn't know you. Well, you weren't saying. You weren't saying that this slide.
What? Okay. Okay.
Okay, I got it.
Be a definite. Okay. The mutual
no.
services which married persons render one another in household manners. So he's saying the second point after the upbringing of children and their education, the nourishment, is like doing
Acts of service to each other.
acts of service.
That's awesome.
It's not unitive. It's not, the warm fuzzies and, laying on the beach and
It's the
looking into each other's eyes. It's
here's
like,
your lunch, or here I did this. I did the dishes for you, and here I.
Yeah, it's like,
yeah.
go work in the field, Jedediah.
Say what?
Go work in
You're still doing that PSA spot, aren't you?
Well, what was it, Fiddler on the Roof? You've seen that, right?
Yes.
You know, there's
If
that.
I were a rich man.
No, it's the
that
scene.
made me sad.
Well,
but go ahead. Yeah.
But it's the scene where they're talking about whether or not his wife actually loves him because it's an arranged marriage. But she was like, I've starved with you. We worked the fields together, that sort of thing. Like, if that's not love, I don't know what is. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I thought it was sad because he kept losing his daughters.
Yeah,
like
his
his
son,
daughters. In a man like I've got 2 daughters, and they all kind of go off and do their own thing. They never. I don't know. It was yeah. When I watched it, I had very young daughters, but
yeah. I don't know. I feel like that one we could do a whole like dissecting of that film and like whose fault was it, or like what the family kind of broke apart and stuff like that. But it's an interesting one. Oh, the music. By the way, real quick, just to catch up on a couple of comments. Adrian earlier said that I hold that marriage is not a vocation; it's a natural end. Some are called out of marriage to religious life in holy orders.
Yeah, that's a good point. I was going to bring that up. Like, if marriage is natural, does that mean priests forsake nature?
That's what I was wondering. Yeah.
Because people always call it a vocation, but I've heard lots of people say that no, it's not a vocation of marriage. It's just like a natural path. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think that Thomas would say that the religious life is a higher vocation. I don't know that they say those words these days in the church, but I think back then they would have said it's even higher because it's a spiritual marriage, so to speak.
Yeah, it makes sense. Marriage to the church, that kind of
and
thing.
Thomas would always put the spirit life ahead of the bodily life. The two are both necessary, but spiritual, intellectual virtues would be higher than moral virtues.
And technically, the priest is marrying the church.
Yeah,
because we refer to the church as she, so it's
right.
And also every priest, and I've heard this, and I think it's so true. Every priest should desire to marry a woman. And
every religious sister should desire a husband and to have children because they wouldn't be a good priest or religious sister if they didn't have that desire.
Yeah, if you were like, oh, yucky girls,
that's not a good.
That's not a good priest.
And if you're like, oh, I wouldn't be a good mother, or I wouldn't be then you shouldn't be a religious sister.
Right.
That's not how that works.
So it's still natural. It's you can have a natural bent towards something, but you may not choose it, but you choose something alternative, which is also a good, right?
Yeah, right.
Okay, I think that clears that up.
But I'm glad that we talked about that, though, because I definitely met someone who thought the opposite, that the natural, everyone was naturally more headed towards religious life or priesthood, and then you discerned out of that to become married, which was a very interesting. I was like, I don't think that's right.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I was like, I don't think that's right. Because we're gonna
because that mean like 98%, 9% of all people miss their vocation. That would mean, right? Because and we can't have all celibate priests.
No, because we die out very quickly. Very, very quickly. Yeah. Also, Buddy had to leave us to go back to work, but he loved joining us. And
we had a little a buddy moment.
A buddy reunion.
A buddy moment. You're going to start crying? I'm going to start crying.
It won't take much over here.
All right. So let's go over let's go over some of the things that
there is a slide up, Jonathan.
Okay. So this is the one that has the married couple there. You got that one?
Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. I was just so engrossed in the conversation we were having.
So what I'm going to go over is some of the things that Thomas did mention in the Summa, leading up to the thing he didn't.
He's really dragging this out, isn't he?
Okay, so you got to be quick here. So this slide here, which looks very creepy if you see it up in the top left, right? Do you get that one there?
Yep.
Okay, you got it. Okay, so he actually asks about wife murder. Like if a man murders his wife, can he remarry? Right, so you can see how
I would say no.
See how specific this is.
Was that a common problem at the time?
Well, I don't like this one. So
like Henry VIII.
Yeah.
Okay,
absolutely.
but Thomas, of course, Henry VIII came later than Aquinas, but he said no. If you do that, you're done. Okay, that's how Aquinas comes down. Of course, that's a very simplistic way. The reason I point this out is that this is how particular and specific he's getting on these questions about marriage. Okay. All right, next one, the graphic. What do you think this one has to do with? Of course, I'm just pulling pictures out. Okay.
Polygamy.
Yeah. So this is. It reminds me of like those car races when the guy wins.
Walks out with the two girls.
They win your race and they get all these girls. They're kissing them.
Awkward.
So anyway, so he brings up the issue of it's two different things. Questions: plurality of wives and bigamy. And I don't know what the difference is. Bigamy, I guess, would be bigamy by its very nature would be two wives. plurality of wives could be that you got like a whole harem or something. But clearly, Thomas comes down that
Basically,
this is
one
wrong.
wife, one husband.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Yeah, one and one. Okay, so all right, the next thing here, and I know this is gonna get some groans, but he asked consanguinity, like marrying people that are close relatives to you. Okay, so they got a little picture of a brother and a sister here. Obviously, they love each other, but they're not gonna marry each other. Okay.
Yep.
And we naturally just are not generally attracted to our siblings.
Yeah.
You know, in that way. And then God kind of placed that in us. That's like,
Yeah.
Does he talk about how far back? Or does he only go with like immediate family? Does he go any further back than that?
Well, good
like
question.
Cousins, second cousins?
Well, no, okay, yeah. He makes a distinction between consanguinity, which I think would be blood relations, and what he calls affinity. And affinity, I think, is exactly what you're talking about. Is you're going out a little bit. Like, can you marry your first cousin? Can you marry, like my not to creep out my kids, but like Chandler, who was on with us earlier today.
Yeah.
He's my nephew, but he's not a blood relative because he was adopted. Okay, so we sometimes joke around with like my daughters and say, "Hey, you could marry Chandler." I mean, because there's no blood relation, even though they're cousins, right?
Yeah.
But that would be that. But that's affinity.
Okay.
Even though there's no blood relation. Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah. That makes sense.
Okay, all right. Feel free out there in social media land to comment. And Sissel is, I got the eagle eye on all the comments there.
And
Okay.
James also said that, there's also the practice, or has been practice, if your brother died, you would have to marry his widow to take care of her so that she would become a second wife.
Yeah, and that would be very close affinity. I mean,
very close.
Yeah, because
affinity.
you wouldn't have a consanguinity, a blood relation, but that I don't know what that's interesting because
do you have to marry her though? Like, can't you just take care of her?
That was a pretty old tradition.
That's a good point.
Do I have to marry her?
Yeah, it was such a thing at the time that was at certain times that was a common thing to do.
It was.
It just seems weird.
Yeah. And even biologically, there's biological reasons you don't want to marry close relatives because
it'll mess you up.
recessive genes and problems with the children, all that. Okay, the next picture here, which I'm sure Jonathan has up by now.
I do.
What do you think this one has to do with?
Breaking free from marriage.
No, slavery.
It does. We all think so different.
No, he asked a question like,
if you have a slave.
An interesting question. Like, does a slave have to obey his or her master in relation to getting married? What do you think? How do you think he comes down in that one?
That one's hard.
That's hard. I would
say
because you kind of have conflicting things like you have obedience.
We also have free will and stuff like that. So I would hope he said no.
He did. Yeah.
He did,
See, Thomas is your pal.
I figured he would.
He says no because.
I remember because during the sorry to interrupt. But
abruptly, I might say. Are you a definite woman?
No, but I do remember when I was doing Civil War history. There were I remember like strict laws in the South, like for the Catholic Church, that like if you do have a slave, you can't arrange their marriage and all this stuff. Like there were lots of laws about that, like like strict sets. Like if they discouraged from having slaves, but they couldn't legally say you can't have one or that sort of thing.
Yeah, because really marriage is between a man and a woman and God. It's not like a man and woman and
this guy over here,
some guy behind me with a whip. I mean, my master. I mean, it's like, dude, get back
off, man.
Get back, Jack.
Yeah,
I want to marry. So I'm glad Thomas, even in the 13th century, came down on the side of slaves being able to marry who they want. Now, just because that's what Thomas says doesn't mean the slave master is going to be like, oh, well, I was reading the Summa last night. I don't know that they really.
This is not right.
That they really care.
It's a guy in Alabama. He's like, well, this is very interesting.
In prima pars, question number 14. No, they don't care. Okay, next one. What do you think this clearly has to do with?
None.
A nun, yes.
So don't marry a nun.
Well, it's like our vows an impediment to marriage.
Well, what kind of vows?
Well, like for like a religious vows.
Yeah.
I would say, especially final religious vows. There's people could discern out before the final vow. Then technically they can leave afterwards too. But generally speaking, you have these vows. So
he also asked an interesting question that I think is very autobiographical. I don't know if this is related so much to marriage or not, but he asked a question about whether somebody can go into a religious life without the permission of their parents. It's kind of related to that slavery issue, you know, like, you have to get permission. And, if you know the story of Aquinas.
He had issues with that.
He had to
was
run
locked
away.
up.
And
Mother Angelica, she had to leave and tell her mom she was going somewhere else.
She
ran away to the convent.
And then her mom ends up joining her order.
So, it worked out for her.
Yeah. Her mom
wasn't married anymore. Hadn't been married for a long time.
Yeah, her dad died.
Yeah, didn't something similar, I mean, like it happened a lot, like
a lot of
way back when, but like didn't Saint Rose of Lima leave because her parents were going to make her get married to this man, but then she went to then she became a nun.
Yeah.
Was it Saint Rose?
It happened all the time back then.
A lot of
it's
them
like
did that.
You're getting married, woman, and no, I'm not. And, it seemed like back in the day it was happening all the time because I think parents were always pushing their kids because there were also arrangements, you know.
Right. Gonna marry this other rich family.
Yeah, right. Because it would benefit the parents to marry, Joe Bob down the road or something. From Anna, Texas.
Yeah. I feel like St. Thomas had a pretty dramatic story, yeah.
I have a quick question. I wonder if Aquinas actually talk about this because I know there are a few saints who may have been like, widows or widowers or whatever, who had younger children who they left to go become a priest or a nun. But I feel like that's the abandonment of a responsibility. You have to see it to the end first, and then you go.
St. Elizabeth Ann Seton was a widow who had children, became a nun, became a mother superior. Yeah, I don't know. So you're like, she do. It's kind of like becoming a deacon. They typically don't pick men to be deacons who have young children.
Yeah,
because it's such a demanding job, and you're going to be taking time away from your kids,
right?
Is that kind of what you're talking about? Like,
well, I think he's talking about is that like if you become like a cloistered sister after having kids, but your kids are not fully grown yet, that would be abandoning your children.
Because there are a lot of saints that did that and became great saints, but it always confused me because like they're neglecting that responsibility. Like they had young children. That's your responsibility to see them through adulthood.
Right.
Andrew says they usually left the kids with male relatives.
That's true.
But however, though there is a thing of like, what are those kids going to feel like if their parent, like they lost one parent, that's pretty traumatic as is, and then their parent does.
Get somebody praying for you a lot.
Yeah, well, no
even if there's no food on the table. Yeah. I'd like to have breakfast, but I sure am getting a lot of prayers from my mom over there in the convent. I would think that generally you got to take care of your first responsibility. If you have a child, raise a child. For sure. Right? Okay. All right, so
this one's
next one. Okay, yeah. I mean, hey, he brings it up in the Summa. Yeah, he brings up incest, and so clearly an impediment.
I didn't realize this topic was going to be so spicy.
Okay, moving on. So the next one.
Wait, but what does St. Thomas say?
I want to know.
No, he says it's wrong.
Okay, all right,
really?
Just making sure.
Okay, the next one, and I couldn't find really a picture for this, but this is where you have disparity of worship. He did mention that, and I don't know back then because there weren't any Protestants. It might have been like, can you marry a Jew? Can you marry a Muslim? Because you would have had Muslims and Jews clearly, and you would have had pagans or. But so probably can a Christian marry a Jew and a Muslim or something like that. I think I don't know exactly how he came down to this one, but I'm clearly thinking he probably did. No, that's not going to happen, right?
Yeah.
Okay, you're not on. You're like.
Sorry,
Ryan too much back there.
Amy on YouTube said that when we were talking about the whole, of religious leaving after they had kids, duty before devotion was her comment.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that does make a lot of sense. Okay. So, all right, next one, we're also going to move along quickly, but I'm just bringing this up because he brings up all these topics. Okay. So impotence in marriage, whether that's an impediment, and he would come across this and say yes. All right, sponsor. Okay, I couldn't find a graphic for this, but he talks about his spiritual relationships and whether that is an impediment to marriage. And by that, I think what he means, and I'll have to read it more closely, maybe Adrian or somebody else knows, but like if you're a sponsor, a confirmation sponsor to somebody, okay, you have a spiritual relationship with them. Is that an impediment to marriage?
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, because
of the relationship, the closeness of a relationship you have with someone.
Exactly. It's almost like affinity. It's like your cousin, but it's on an even higher level.
Marrying that person that you
right. Okay, so you're asked to be the confirmation sponsor of somebody, and let's say the age range was close enough where you could also get married.
Weird.
You know, in being their sponsor, you fall in love with them. Thomas would say you can't marry him.
I would agree. I don't think, because I think the importance of the sponsors and your like godchildren. So like Adrian mentions, you can't marry your godkids. Is that there's someone that's outside of your immediate family that they are holding you accountable to your faith. And so I've always personally believed that, you know, maybe avoid having close family members as your sponsors, or like close, like inner, like your sister, but just because I think it's important to have someone outside. But yeah, so that would be weird.
Yeah.
Because you have a whole other responsibility.
Right.
And
like
it's
and
almost
then
like it's almost like a slight difference in spiritual maturity. Not that the other person couldn't catch up, but you know.
Yeah,
it would be weird.
Spiritual responsibility for them, but
yeah. So you don't want to be going into marriage like, oh, I'm spiritually. I mean, you are in marriage spiritually responsible for one another to an extent, but that would be weird. I haven't really thought about it because all the people that like, you know, people that I would have sponsored stuff like that are closer or like kids and things like that. So you don't think about that. Usually there's an age gap, but
yeah. So be careful who you become a sponsor for. You know,
man, I don't know.
Some guy that you really like says, "Hey, would you be my confirmation sponsor?" No,
can't do it.
And I'll be like, well, why not? And I was like,
marry
because not even that we're dating right now, but we could.
You never know.
So something to keep in mind. But I'm guessing that's not like a law in the church. You know, it's something that Aquinas. I don't know. It'd be interesting.
It's like advice or something like that.
Anybody know that out there in social media land? Whether or not that's a law in the church and
officially.
Canon law that you can't.
Current law doesn't forbid it anymore, though. Should be discouraged nonetheless.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's good. That's good advice. Okay. All right. And finally, probably no surprise, and this is just a picture I found there in the bottom left. He talks about divorce. He talks about second marriages. He tell you, but the whole point of this is that he covers everything.
Except for something.
Except for something.
Yeah.
He covers everything except for something. Okay, so now that you've had a lot of things that he did cover, as we reach the climactic moment of this week's Back to the Father, do you guys want to
final guesses?
Kind of guess?
Let's go.
The interesting question that St. Thomas Aquinas does not. I love Adrian is holding back so much because we had a conversation about this morning.
So he knows it.
I see. Oh, of course. Adrian probably knew it anyways. You know, he didn't need me to explaining it, but. Of course, it's a very general question. There's a lot of things that Thomas didn't ask about. Okay, so anybody want to? Don't look at the next slide.
Wait, what?
Okay, you
Too
look.
late.
You cheated.
Too late.
Well, no,
Am I the only one who's
Sissel's gonna be
I was just getting it ready.
All right, how about the people out there? Now that you've had a little chance to
anyone
get
know?
some of the background.
Although I think Sissel said it already.
Did I actually earlier?
I think you did.
Yeah, you hit on it.
I don't remember what I said 30 minutes ago.
It was like the first thing you said.
She didn't remember the brilliance of what she said.
Oh,
okay. So
you never were like, oh yes. You just sort of like.
Okay, so here it is. Next slide is he never mentions same-sex marriage. Okay, so now you might say, well, of course he wouldn't. But I love the conversation we had this morning on CDT because he also doesn't ask in the Summa about abortion. Okay,
because it just wasn't.
And the point is,
I think it's interesting because like things like abortion and same-sex marriage were super rare back in those days.
Yeah.
Like our society today is making it like it's like a thing we all do, but back then it was extremely rare to have someone who's like same-sex.
Yeah,
I think it was also just like unthinkable to and it just wasn't even something that was seriously ever considered, so it wouldn't even be
Yeah, it's like a silly thing.
I'm sure there's like things today that people wouldn't write about because it's not a thing.
It's like Crazy Town. I mean, okay, did y'all see Matt Walsh's What is a Woman?
Not yet, but I want to so bad.
Okay, so have you seen it, Sissel?
I have not. I've only seen bits of it, like clips of it.
I have a free version of it. I was sent. Somebody texted it to me, and I think you can watch it free. So if you guys want to watch it, I can give it to you.
Cool.
So, anyways, are you familiar with what it's about? Matt Walsh runs around talking to college professors and people on the street and all that with just this question of what is a woman, and nobody is really able to give him an answer. So in one part of it, it's very interesting, and it does tie into this. He flies over to Africa. And
I did see this clip, I think.
I saw that clip.
You saw that. And he's talking to some tribesmen, okay? These people we would think would be very primitive and, not very sophisticated. And he's asking them these questions. He's walking and asking them, like, do you think a man could become a woman?
They're
and they're like, what? Like, it never even crossed their mind. And like, do you think, and they laugh like, what? And that's how I think Thomas would, if some scribe had come in and said,
you haven't brought up this. This is really important. You should bring this up.
And he would have been like,
why?
Whoa, never thought about that.
You people are stupid.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah. And the other comment I made this morning is that, I think kind of going along with what you were saying, William, is we're spending a lot of time in our culture talking about nonsense.
Yeah.
We're spending think about how much time is spent in our culture talking about gay marriage, abortion, transgenderism, gender dysphoria, the kind of stuff that in centuries ago, it never even
wouldn't have been
hit
brought
the
up.
radar.
Yeah. Didn't even cross anyone's mind.
I think honestly,
usually.
I always have thought that, like, especially in the Western culture right now, we just have too much free time
Yeah.
to think a little too hard.
Yeah.
Because places in Africa, their lives are so much different. And there's a lot of countries that their lives are just completely different. They're so focused on just day-to-day survival, day-to-day, like keeping up with things. And so they're, that's not even a thing that they would even consider, Do I feel like I am more of a woman than a man? They're just like, I'm just trying to provide for my family. I'm just trying to get things done. And so I think sometimes we're just a little bit inundated with information and too little to do.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
Yeah,
It's true.
modern technology makes life easier, and not many of us are working the farm and milking the cows,
Right.
and doing physical labor. And back then, people wanted to have a lot of kids because you get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, you get out there and you work, and if one of them is like, "Dad, I'm not sure if I'm a man or a woman," you'd be like, "Get out there!" It's like, I don't care.
Is this gonna help Bessie get milked or not?
I know.
No, I don't think so.
We just got it too easy. And things have just gotten kind of ridiculous. All right, so that's the one interesting question that St. Thomas Aquinas did not ask about marriage on the Summa Theologia. I'll see if I still have my YouTube channel when I get home tonight.
I imagine. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead.
I imagine if he wrote it today, he would have been talking about that a lot.
Yeah, that's true. Kind of hard to not.
Yeah.
To
and there's some of those
that.
things. Maybe some of those subjects that he talked about in it, he maybe would not have brought up at all because it wasn't not as prevalent.
Like arranged marriage or something like that.
Yeah, not as prevalent.
Like marriage,
they still do happen.
I know people, and that could be a whole different conversation. I'm not so sure. I think arranged marriages, there's some merit to it.
I think as long as everyone's consenting in it and stuff like that, I don't think it's 100% something that should be.
But then it wouldn't
down.
be arranged if everybody's consenting,
Well,
right?
Most things I feel
what
like.
I mean is that the parents can set people up and say, I think you'll all be good, but if one of them is like, no.
Yeah,
I think,
like the parents pick, and then the daughter or the
meet.
son have
it's kind of like matchmaking, basically.
right of refusal.
Right of refusal, yeah, because they can't force someone into it, because that wouldn't be a Catholic marriage if they weren't fully going into it.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is that I was wondering, how could those, like some of the arranged marriage, how could those be valid? I mean, you could consent, but consent oh, you're going to marry
Shotgun
him.
wedding.
Yes, I will.
Yeah.
Yes, you will.
Yeah. Well, Aquinas talks about consent in the marriage thing. One of the questions about consent. Interesting. Yeah, I think I kind of like the pseudo arranged marriage. It's kind of like William's parents come to him and say, "Hey, we found the perfect girl for you," and then William's like, okay.
I'll go on it.
Then,
One of my friend's mom is, because the dating culture, as any young person will know, is really, really weird right now. But one of my friend's mom still is very convinced that the best way to meet somebody is through your network of friends and family.
Yeah.
Introducing you to somebody.
Yeah, it's hard when somebody comes totally out of left
I'm not
field.
saying it doesn't
and,
happen. It
says
does
the guy
happen.
who met his wife on the internet
Yeah,
across the world. So, all right. A nice conversation, and appreciate everybody's comments. Anything else from social media land that we want to get to before we move into the next phase of... so we had tomfoolery, we had meat, we had the meat of the... And now we move into to what, Sissel? So, go throws.
It's that time of the show where we give Dave Summa to think about, and he gives it right back, and Sissel might cry. For what reason? We don't know.
We'll find out.
Because if she gets the trivia wrong, or she's just having really bad allergies.
Just keep on talking even after the music bed. Yeah.
It's my thing. I can do whatever.
Thanks, Diane, for playing that. Well timed. Okay, who has trivia? Show of hands. You got it? Yeah. See, William never misses it. I
Well,
admire.
I bring
an
the gift
intern.
of my presence to the show, Dave. Okay.
Wow, that's what we get, huh?
Yeah.
All right, I think I prefer trivia, but that's all right.
wow.
No,
Okay.
no. Okay, so you we'll go around the horn here. Okay,
Yeah.
so
I got one easy question.
That's it.
I
Okay.
think it's going to be easy at least.
Yeah, well, it probably will be.
First come. I'm a
Oh,
dinger
Easy
ready.
is relative.
Yeah, yeah. All right. The Feast of Our Lady of the Rosary was originally the Feast of Our Lady of Victory. What type of victory was celebrated?
Oh,
what were
I
they
know
celebrating?
that.
Okay, yeah, I thought you probably would.
Lepanto. The victory over the
Yeah,
Muslims.
naval battle over
Nice.
the Ottoman Empire. Yeah, Lepanto.
Very nice.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Those Ottomans.
That's it.
That's it.
Ah, there you go, Dave.
Quick, in and out, man. Yeah.
I have 2 questions.
And you,
We're
and,
slowly moving up.
and William had 2 weeks to prepare that.
Yeah.
but
I did it like within the last 30 minutes before the show.
All right.
Or hour.
As any good high school college student should, you know, like-
That's right.
So my questions are on theme. It's about weddings and stuff like that.
Oh wow!
So I
very
figured
nice.
the best trivia for this would be obscure Jewish wedding traditions.
Okay.
So-
they
Are
throw-
any of them present in Fiddler on the Roof?
No, actually.
Man, that's all I knew.
But Orthodox. So,
are you doing this off the top of your head?
what?
You don't have any paper in front of you.
No,
do
I
you?
just know it.
Oh, okay.
'Cause I'm
You
just
just-
that smart. Yeah.
He just read them a few minutes ago.
Infused knowledge, right?
Oh yeah.
You said, "God, give me some."
Some
Yeah.
Jew
Drop some
wedding
thoughts.
facts. All right, there we
How,
go.
how many do you have?
2. Well, kind of. It's a question and then a question about that question.
Nothing simple with Jonathan,
No,
is
it's
it?
never.
It's like, how many do you have?
Ever
What?
changing.
Okay.
So
Ever new.
first question is one. So there's the bride and the groom. One of them has to shave their head completely bald, according to
Jewish tradition.
Jewish tradition.
I'm gonna just take a
wild
like us
guess.
the women.
Okay, yeah,
Because
it is the
you
women.
wouldn't ask it if it was the man.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Because everybody's like, "Oh, it's got to be the man." So then you said, "Well, the
You
fact
gotta
that he
reverse
asked us-
psychology it.
Oh,
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
Well, anyway, why is that? Why must her head be shaved?
I think I know.
yeah.
You want to take a guess?
I have no idea.
I'm just going to guess because in the tradition, it makes her unattractive to all other men.
No.
Oh.
Do you have a guess?
Wow, that was harsh. I don't.
What else?
Because I guess it's maybe starting new. Something
What?
about like starting new. You shave it off, and then you're going into marriage, and I don't know.
No, it's because the visible. Apparently, according to what I read, and I did a few. If there are any people who know what to talk about or that sort of thing, I apologize for getting this wrong, but I read a few things that said that visible hair is equivalent to nudity. In like Orthodox Jewish tradition.
Oh, really?
So
now Adrian said the hair is the glory of the man, and so
I guess maybe.
Maybe
Part of
right?
it. But from what I read, it was that just to avoid the risk at the wedding at all of any hair being exposed, she had to shave her head and wear a veil.
Wow.
They could have just taken some lessons from some sisters on how to like properly cover your hair.
Yeah,
I don't know. But that's what.
But
So
Right.
the did they do that after the wedding, or like does she get it
She
for
did
the
before,
wedding?
I think
to
she
look
did
the
for-
wedding.
before the wedding, so that at the
No hair
wedding
can be
So
seen.
he-
she doesn't have like a veil slip off.
So the guy has to marry like Kojak. I mean, right? Do you remember that show, the bald dude? No, okay.
No, but
Davey.
no. He's marrying Will Smith's wife.
Jada Pinkett. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Touchy subject. Nobody
wait.
slap each other, okay?
Please hold.
Okay.
All right, is that the only question? Do you have another question?
No, that was it.
Oh.
Just one.
Well, that was like 1.5.
Where was that?
Well, I said who gets their head shaved, and then why is the head shaved?
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
All right.
All right. I thought it was good.
Yeah, thank you.
We're 2 for 2. Don't let us
All
down,
right.
Sissel.
Oh gosh.
You got 3 questions?
I have 4 actually.
Oh, wow.
1, 2, 3, 4. Depending on. Okay, so one of them does have to do with divorce, and I didn't know if that was like a bad idea to do on a show about marriage, but we did talk about divorce a little, so
Yeah.
That's true.
Thomas wrote
it's
about
trivia.
it. It's good
All
enough
right,
for the
so
Summa.
first off, okay, this is kind of following on Jonathan's like traditions and stuff like that. So traditionally, I don't know when they're talking about exactly, but bridesmaids would be dressed in a similar bride-like gown. Why? To the bride.
For like luck,
so
that they would be the next.
So they don't
would-
draw any attention to themselves.
They're dressed the same, like similar to the bride, though. Usually, like nowadays, that's an insult. If you wear a
similar to
white
the
dress to a
bride.
wedding, you are
yeah.
in so much
Is it
trouble
like to hide the bride?
to hide the bride.
So it's like, ooh, but which
Which
one
one's
is she?
the bride?
And then she pops out of the bride.
So the guy doesn't know which
The
one he's
bride
marrying.
bouquet.
Exactly.
Which
Yeah.
one?
Arranged marriage.
That's interesting. That seems so weird that
Is it
you
like a
dress
good look?
exactly like the bride.
Yeah.
So show your unity with her.
So I think Adrian got it, actually. He wrote on it one of the reasons. So it is to confuse rival suitors, evil spirits, and robbers. And he said kidnappers. So yeah, apparently that was a common problem at some point in time.
Those evil spirits just keep stealing my wife.
And also the rival suitors. Like, it's kind of sad, though, that rival suitors wouldn't be able to figure out which girls which. That's kind of embarrassing.
If you're that much into the girl, dude.
Well, you're going to steal her right then and there.
Like, I guess apparently maybe they didn't look too closely. Grab a girl, throw her over the shoulder, like, oh, she's in a white dress. Let's take her.
She's mine.
That's like the old
it's you.
The old joke that the woman said, gosh, I went to a wedding the other day. It was so embarrassing because there was another woman there with the same dress as me, which no woman wants to wear the exact same dress. And she said, unfortunately, it was the bride.
Ooh.
No, it's a joke. It's a joke. You're the same.
Traumatized for a second. My friend's mom and another friend of mine came to the wedding in the same dress. It was quite. I think it's fun when you come up. I know people get really touchy. Women can be really touchy about this. I think it's cute.
Guys don't even notice. I mean, if I was at an event and like William has the same suit as me, I mean, I'd be like,
there was a trend on YouTube for a while where a bunch of like wives would give their husbands the same shirt and show up to dinner for like a several couples dinner. Guys are like, wait, we're all wearing the same like blue and white striped shirt.
Well, because whenever I see someone like that, I'm like, hey, you got good style. He's like, so do you. And then,
a high five,
exactly.
Chest bump. I mean, yeah.
Okay, all right. Now another traditional one. At Italian weddings, it is not unusual for both the bride and groom to break a glass. Why would they do that?
Oh, it's the bottle of wine over the head.
What?
Yeah. No, I know this one.
What is it?
I know this. It basically symbolizes the fact that marriage is challenging and
it's gonna break.
It's gonna break. It's just the fragility of what you're getting into and the need. Am I right? Or
that's not what I found with the research, but what it says is the number of shards will be equal to the number of happy years the couple will have. So you want to break that thing.
Yeah.
I know, it's really cheesy.
Yeah, that's
very, very cheesy. I like yours better.
Okay.
Okay, now we're going to get into divorce and low marriage rates here. Okay, which 3 states have the highest percentage of divorced adults?
California's got to be one of them.
Yeah, New York, California.
Nevada, because they all get married there, and then they...
Wait.
Nevada?
Nevada. Yeah, Nevada is one of them.
Yeah.
Utah?
Oh, the Mormons?
Well, I was thinking because they're...
But that's like different. That'd probably be the most marriages.
That's
true.
That would be the opposite.
How about Oregon?
Oregon? No.
Huh.
It's not. I honestly was surprised by these.
So not California.
I don't think it's gonna be anything in the deep south.
Nothing in the
I'm
too
gonna say
deep
Colorado.
South. No.
Tennessee.
It's all in the Midwest or East from here.
Michigan.
No. Okay. So you give up.
Indiana.
One of them's our
Minnesota.
northern friend.
Yankees?
Oklahoma?
Oh,
really?
Oklahoma. And then the last one is like, think way far northeast.
Hawaii.
Northeast.
Northeast. Oh, Maine.
Yes.
Maine.
Oh, wow.
Really random. They have the highest percentage of divorced adults. Now, I don't know if that means that's where the adults got divorced or that's just where they reside. And then Arkansas and Oklahoma have the highest rates of people who have been married at least 3 times.
Oh, really?
Whoa.
Arkansas and what?
Oklahoma.
Well, I guess
Okay.
if you live in like a Yankee land, it's such like a depressing, sad, gray sky, rainy area, and like you just be sad that you're a Yankee. So I guess that must be why.
You always got to kind of way to like rip on the North. All right. And last one is what part of the United States has the lowest marriage rate?
Lowest marriage rate. It's gonna be some like
California.
blue state.
New York.
Yeah.
Like northeast.
how many
northeastern
places?
area.
Like Washington.
Go with William. Go with William.
Washington State.
What? Northeast?
Northeast.
Northeast.
Rhode Island. Rhode Island.
No.
Maine. New
No.
York.
Massachusetts.
I'll give you a massive hint. First
Indiana.
come, first serve.
What's that?
It's not a state.
Oh,
DC.
DC.
Yeah, Washington, D.C.
Oh, really?
has the lowest marriage rate.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
there you go.
All right. Well, thank you for those.
You're welcome.
I also, I kind of did the same thing. I got a theme based, as you've come to expect, and copy today. Okay, but that's
To be fair, wait, but we're talking about copying real quick. Can we just take a moment? Whose trivia idea was it? Who started the trivia? I'm pretty sure that was Jonathan and Sissel. Remember, it was give Dave Summa to think about.
It was Jonathan and Sissel.
And then I kind of
like
like,
And Dave's like, trivia.
I'll turn
I got
that
trivia.
around. Yeah, because the whole time I was talking.
You're asking us
then,
questions and making us look dumb.
and
so
you
we
guys
were like,
finally get to turn the tables around, right?
Nope, but no
you
more.
turn them right back
so
around.
Now you just judge our trivia.
I've got a few. Okay, why are engagement rings worn on the fourth finger of the left hand?
Oh, I did know this at some
The
point in
fourth
time.
finger. Well, that's still like it's a placeholder for the wedding ring, and that's supposed to because it's like an artery that goes to your heart or something.
Yeah,
right?
that's right. It is an artery that goes to your heart.
Wow, a vein in that finger leads directly to the heart.
Yeah.
Very
Connects it
good.
to my heart.
Wow. Okay.
I'm emotional again.
Okay, so let me see the next one. Okay, where did the tradition of the wedding cake come from in ancient Rome?
Ancient Rome.
Where did the tradition of the wedding? You like just having a cake?
Yeah, why
Did like
why
some
a
Roman
cake?
dude
Because they
have
were like,
extra cake?
everyone was really hungry at the end of the wedding mass. They were like,
No, it's a little deeper than that.
it looks like the bride in the white.
It actually ties into something Jonathan said earlier. I
What,
think
did,
kind
like
of.
some guy, he was like, "Hey guys, I got cake, and you don't have any food for your wedding, so do you want to eat this cake?" And they're like, "Yeah, sure, why not?"
Let's make this a thing. I have no idea.
The tradition of a wedding cake comes from ancient Rome, where revelers broke a loaf of bread over the bride's head for fertility,
of course.
for fertility's sake.
Oh, of course.
I tell you.
Like, I hope you have lots of children.
Yeah, thank you.
You're like, thanks.
Okay. Okay. Where did the phrase "tying the knot" come from? Okay. Hey, Joe and Sally tied the knot yesterday.
Is it something from American history, or no?
That I don't know.
Isn't
We're
that
looking at
because-
comments here. Okay, people are frantically commenting
Yes,
as
they're
we
like,
ignore
"What?"
them.
No, some of them had some good guesses. Adrian was surprised. The wedding cakes go back to ancient Rome.
Yeah. According to my very
According to the internet.
Yeah,
And everything on the
very
internet is
research.
real.
you do a search and it's like, all right, whatever.
Yeah.
I feel like we
Standards
should
are pretty low on
I
this
feel like
stuff.
we should rename our trivia show to like most likely true trivia, but you might want to research it
Yeah,
yourself.
Yeah. Source. you know.
Don't be referring
We do
to
not
us.
have cited sources here that are
Yeah.
like past the test.
No, this is okay. This is very
The
interesting.
binding of the hands at the wedding ceremony. That's what Adrian's saying.
Man, Adrian is so smart. Yeah. Okay, many cultures around the world, including Celtic, Hindu, and Egyptian weddings, the hands of a bride and groom are literally
that's
tied
right.
together to demonstrate the couple's commitment to each other and their new bond as a married couple, giving the popular phrase "tying the knot."
Interesting.
Okay, and so there you go. Okay, a couple more. Let's see. Okay. In regards to marriage, men who blank in marriage are said to live 5 years longer than those who don't.
Say their wife is right.
Yeah, agree with their wife.
This is so random. I mean, but it's actually something. You're probably not going to guess this one. Men who kiss their wives in the morning.
Oh,
Are
yeah,
said
because
to
they're not
live
going to poison them when they're sleeping.
Boy, Cecil, you are really going dark here.
Wow.
Guys
sorry.
like watching are like, well, she seemed really attractive, and I kind of liked her, but she's
But she's
made a
probably
couple
gonna murder
references
me
to
if I-
killing her husband.
So maybe.
The city in America that is the top destination for weddings.
Vegas.
Okay,
Vegas,
yeah,
yeah.
I was
yeah.
gonna say Vegas. Yeah.
What? Okay. What's number 2? Now it's not really. It's more of a state than a
Florida.
That it's more of a-
Hawaii.
Hawaii. Oh, that was better. I
Yes,
was thinking
very
beaches and I
good.
said Florida first.
Okay. Now this goes back to let's see to your question earlier about shaving heads.
Ah, yes.
In the Orient,
So glad we're back to that.
Me too.
in the Orient, historically, the bride's eyebrows were shaved entirely, rendering her. Okay, why did they do that? Why did they?
Because you have
They
to.
wanted to have perfect eyebrows so she could draw them in herself.
Because she
Okay.
could not express the proper expression of disgust at the fact she's being forced into this marriage without eyebrows. You can't tell.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
I have,
she started to
the
laugh.
makeup would be flawless. Because they would usually have very, very white skin,
Okay.
like white powder on their face. They wouldn't.
Now you see, you gotta play a little psychology here, because earlier when Jonathan said shave the head, do you remember what I immediately said? Oh, I think it's because of this. Do you remember what I said? I said.
Is that gonna be the answer?
Oh, to make him unattractive to men.
Yeah, what I said was it makes the woman unattractive. Okay?
okay.
Eyebrows are considered intensely alluring in the Orient.
Wow.
Historically, the bride's eyebrows were shaved entirely, rendering her powerless to attract a man.
Wow.
Yeah, take away those eyebrows, man. She won't attract anybody.
Too much. Eyebrows.
Intensely alluring.
No, but remember, like in the
Oh my
remember in the
gosh.
Passion of the Christ, the woman that played the devil.
Yeah, she had no eyebrows.
and it was creepy looking.
Very creepy.
Yeah, so I think there's actually something to this. I mean,
I just don't ever sit there and go, my intensely alluring eyebrows.
You're
Even
like,
though
oh, I'm
that's something
sorry,
I
I'm just
spend a lot
lost in your eyebrows right now. It's just...
Maybe that's why it's a really big thing in makeup though for girls to like fill in their eyebrows every day.
Yeah,
I've never done
Well, I mean,
that.
they're important for like expressing an emotion or something like that. But I mean, I've never
The only
been
time
like,
I've ever spent
wow,
time,
she's got eyebrows.
the only time I ever spent time on my eyebrows was when I played a guy in a opera. I played a male thief, and I had to make my eyebrows look more
Darker.
like thicker and more like a guy.
Okay. Yeah,
That's the only time I've ever done it.
Yeah, interesting. It's not something you typically think about. Like, yeah,
Now
like
I'm
you
gonna
say,
be
like
very
you have got
self-conscious
the
of
most
my
beautiful
eyebrows.
eyebrows.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh,
Yeah.
we
okay.
learned something today,
Yeah.
guys.
All
The
right.
more you
that's
know.
what I
Guess.
We have something. Adrian says I'm taking notes.
I'm surrounded
and
by all
Victor's-
single people.
And Victor's like, why Vegas for weddings? It's because you can go to the Elvis Chapel and get married with like nothing.
Yeah.
You can be
Elvis
drunk
Chapel.
basically and do it.
I wonder how many people get.
Adrian shaves my wife's eyebrows. Don't think she's gonna appreciate.
What did he say?
He's just saying like he's gonna shave his wife's eyebrows.
Well, like while she's sleeping.
I don't think she's gonna appreciate that.
Yeah, she'll be mad.
Okay. Yeah, that'll
Maybe don't take all the
that'll
advice.
raise some eyebrows, huh? Okay.
Oh gosh. What happened to our like sound effects?
Okay, we're a little over time, but anyways, thanks everybody. Good show. That was kind of fun, wasn't it? Good topic.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, thanks Diane. Thanks everybody for watching and participating, and we'll see you not next week, in 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Okay? Come back in 2 weeks. All right. God bless you. Have a great weekend.
Thanks for joining us for Back to the Father. And don't forget, the glory of God is the human person fully alive. If you have comments about the show, email Dave Palmer at grnonline.com.